This is Kaileigh and Princess at the TLC clinic in Vero Beach on March 21st. I'm going to let both runs go through on a normal speed and then do a slow play review for you. Kaileigh, I really like your new mare. You're doing very well with her. I know it takes a little bit of adjustments getting used to riding her versus the gray that you brought to the clinic last year, but you are doing a really good job. The video on the left is the afternoon run. The video on the right is the morning run. She was really getting turny and turning at her shoulders, and you had to really work on keeping your hands low and driving her with your feet up into the turns. What I noticed most about her when we worked her is that she lost a little bit of fluidity, or sometimes would overflex her face and lose her hip. So the morning, unfortunately, you hit a couple of barrels. She was anticipating her turns and getting in there a little bit early. So I'm going to go ahead and run it through again slow. In the afternoon, you were 18.628, which was really good considering the jackpot was won with a 16.4. So you were just over 2 seconds out. And I really feel as though it was a much smoother run. You had much more control, and you two should be a really good team. I know you're just getting started together, but I like how quiet she comes in the alleyway for you. She's just a 4-year-old, so she got a little distracted in the morning, but in the afternoon we'll go ahead and review that video first. And you know, you didn't quite let her get going, and then you got her on the wrong lead. So when you hit the timer, she was on the wrong lead, and then she swapped, but it was just because you didn't really commit to driving her through your circles back here. You just kind of, when you get to this point, Kaileigh, if you're going to lope a circle and you decide to say go, don't fuss with her, just send her. But she wasn't on the correct lead, so I would have broke her into a trot and did one more circle here, and then when you got your lead, then send her. But you were really second guessing yourself. Like the morning, you had her on her lead and you just sent her and you didn't fuss with her as much, so it didn't cost you as much time. I really think you would have been easily a 17 had you actually let her run from this point. But because you fussed with her and she almost trotted when you got to the eye, she was barely in a lope. So that's what hurt you in the afternoon. But I was so pleased with your, we'll watch the left video first. I was so much happier with your approach in. And again, you're still getting in her face a little bit starting that turn, and it's important that you just learn to see how she'll give her face and lose her hip. It's important that you notice that you're looking in, and that's not a good thing with a horse like this. She's thinking about turning, so you really need to look and ride up in the hole. The hole is here. You don't want to be asking her to start her turn until you get to this point. But with you looking in, you're already telling her to turn when you should only be telling her to think about rating at this point and turning at this point. Okay, so those little changes will help you as well. And then you realize that you're by, so then you look up, and you have a nice leave. She leaves very straight, very nice there. But right here, once again, you have a tendency to look at the barrel and lean in with your shoulder. We need to teach you to ride straighter longer. So what that means is when you leave the barrel, you need to be looking between her ears and riding straighter longer. 4 feet to the side of the barrel and about 4 or 5 feet past the barrel. Your hands need to be even. Your shoulders and hips, hands, legs, everything needs to be saying that you're going to go straight. Even if you sit for rate when you get here, you don't give her the turn cue, which is looking in, shoulder, hip, inside hand and leg, until you get to your leg at spot 1, or even a little bit deeper, her hip at spot 1, the entrance. You want to make sure you're not turning until you're in the hole, which is between spot 1 and spot 2, the entrance and the back side of the barrel. That will help her not to hit the barrels. You did get her by nice, and then you sat. I'd like to see your hand, instead of pulling down to your hip, I'd like to see your hand a little bit more by your pommel of your saddle, and then use your leg to let her come around instead of pulling on her head. So we really need to get you to soften your hands, and see right there was a lot better in the sense that you moved her over and got her into her pocket better on third barrel. but it's still, you're going to the horn a little bit early. If you could ride 2 hands until your leg gets the barrel and not look in until you get up into the turning spot. This here area here is okay for her to rate, but you still need to be looking straighter longer and not asking her to turn until your leg gets to the barrel. So that will help a lot on a horse that's really thinking hunt and turn a barrel. But huge improvements, and just remember, low hands, soft hands, look and ride to spot 1 and spot 2. Do not look at the barrel, and try to stay 2 hands until your leg gets to the barrel. That'll help a lot too, guiding your 4-year-old to her position. And just do drills during the week that will help you with drills that will help you with extension and collection. For her, the big D, little d would be a good one, because you come in straight and then you have a nice fluid circle and you leave straight. So it would be good for picking up her shoulder, keeping her hip under, and then helping her finish her turn straight. So big D, little d is a good one for her. Another one that's good for you, so you do not overuse your hands, was the morning drill that you did with me, the true turns. And on the true turns, you go ahead and you start, she's a right barrel first, so you start at this point and do a first barrel, circle around, do a second barrel, circle around, do a third barrel, and finish. And that will also allow you to have good form around the barrel without actually over drilling on the barrel pattern. So anyways, congratulations, great job in the afternoon, and thank you for coming to the clinic. It was great to see you again, and I really love your 4-year-old. I think the two of you are going to do some great things together.